r/datingoverforty. Older Redditor says, are women who make six figures intimidating to men? Just getting back into dating and have met a couple nice men. They seem genuinely interested and they don't seem to mind that I have children and all that. What they do seem to mind is that my income is a good bit more than theirs. Am I creating this in my head? Or is this real? Do men want women who earn more, or is their preference going to be for women who are in a similar tax bracket? Misty Rios says, male here. Why are you sharing that information with them so soon? I couldn't give a hoot how much someone earns. It's not a representation of their personality, and if these guys are insecure about it then they are not for you. By the way, not every guy is the same. Low Detective 2977 says, I can't speak for the ops case, but in my experience, as soon as people learn where I work and what I do, it's not difficult for them to piece things together. I avoid talking about my work and even downplay my role, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. House Off Bridget 11 says, I'm a lawyer, and I own a home in a nice area, so I assume my dates have an idea how much money I earn. I make several times more than most of the men I meet, and it hasn't been an issue yet. The last few guys I dated were a waiter, a pool cleaner, and an Uber driver, not a single conversation about earnings. I don't think men care much at all about the income of their partner if they are otherwise happy. Indof World Boredom says, I don't care how much money you make. I only care how you make me feel. I'm sure other people feel differently. There's a whole spectrum here. Like all things in dating, you just have to find your person, not be a good match for most people. Neither Put 6799 says, salary disparities can be pretty obvious, just based on job title/field, not always, but if I said I'm a surgeon, engineer, etc and my date has an entry-level position you could safely make an assumption. I doubt she's handing over statements and routing numbers on the first date. I briefly dated a guy that was struggling financially and there were frequent monologues about his career setbacks or how I lucked out with my job. It always seemed like he was trying to take me down a peg. Pure Tension 6473 says, I dated someone like this. A good man on the whole, but would say things like I'm not lucky enough to have a setup like you, like I bent over and picked up my MD off the street. r/datingoverforty. Commenty 9303 says, I just learned my best friend sabotaged my potential relationship. I, F49, finally had a first date last night with a guy, M42, I had met 4 years ago. We met at a bar through mutuals and we've seen each other many times since in social gatherings, etc. When we first met years ago, we also matched on an old site and chatted briefly. During the chatting phase, I had mentioned to our mutual friend that we were talking and I tried to get her take on him. She normally offers up her opinion on my dates, but this time she didn't really want to give me any insight. We were planning on meeting up, and things just never came of it. I didn't think too much of it at the time, and dated other guys, and ended up in a 3-year relationship soon after. I would still run into this guy from time to time, and we would talk for hours, but I never worked up the courage to ask why we never ended up going on that date years ago. Last week I saw his old profile again and sent a message. I said to myself, frick it, I have nothing to lose and clearly not afraid of embarrassing myself again. We ended up matching and decided to get a drink last night. As I suspected, we had a great time. We have a similar sense of deranged humor and he works at my old job, so we ended up having a ton to talk about. He fessed up that he didn't end up going out with me 4 years ago because our mutual friend freaked out about it to him. He didn't want to cause any drama in the friend group, so he just never pursued anything with me. She did tell me once that she had a crush on him, but that was after B had blown me off. He then told me that one night she called him up drunk and professed her love for him. Oh, she's also married. She was married for about a year when this happened. What? He told me that she even went so far as to start a business with him, just to spend time with him. Once he spent money on this business, he knew she had no intention of actually making it work, but just wanted to have excuses to see him. Anyway, we have plans to get together again, and I really like him. I don't want to piss off my best friend. I don't have a lot of female friends, but it's not like she gets to claim him or anything. This feels silly to even be in this situation at my age, but here I am. Should I just act like I don't know how she feels about him? I want to be able to discuss my relationships, but I don't want to make her feel weird or potentially have her say anything negative. I'm kind of pissed that she was the reason we never dated 4 years ago. It would have saved me from a bunch of shitty dates and a frustrating relationship. Should I say anything to her? Do I keep this to myself until our dating becomes more serious? Hot Chemical 4706 says, your friend sounds like a selfish biatch. I'd pull her up on it and also let her know you're seeing him. Frick, what, she thinks she didn't care about you first time round, she looked out for herself and no one else. Sitter 234 says, this is your best friend. Maybe date the guy and then try to find a new friend. Every Cook 5084 says, just continue to date. She's not a variable in that equation. If it progresses to the point of him being around you both, just casually mention you're together. Doninable 222 says, she is not a friend, friends. Do not do that. Look for an actual friend and keep the guy. Vegetable around 2819 says, I'd want some clarity on whether or not they ever had any sort of relationship, because it sure sounds like they banged. An uninterested man doesn't start a freaking business with a married woman who threw herself at him. Stakandroning from 2 says, girl, she's not your friend. However many friends you think you have, subtract 1 for her. Dump her. Keep him. Find more better friends. See Awareness 3193 says, based on what you shared, the guy has major red flags too, not just your friend. Queen Ida B says, she professed her love to him, and he thought starting a business with a married woman who is in love with him was a good idea. Curious Heart 246 says, your friend is married? No, child. She has no claim on that man, and no control over your life. Don't be a pushover. Please do what you want to do. Don't involve her. That's not your friend. Little Sister 10 says, it's hard to know whether he's exaggerating or lying or not. Cold Peas again says, if I had no friends, I still wouldn't be around someone like that. She's not a nice person. Value yourself more than this. r/datingoverforty. Labajura 311 says, embarrassed, ed issue out of nowhere. Hi, 46 male, here. I've never had erectile dysfunction issues ever in my life and am freaking out. I've been dating her 2 months, but just recently started having sex. Last week, I came hard and quick, and had some blood come out. Totally freaked me out, it kind of hurt, but nothing was swollen or sore. Couple of days ago, we were having sex, and I went flaccid. I'm very embarrassed. Seeing my doctor TMW. My partner is very accepting, but I don't think she was happy about it. It's totally me. I'm healthy and we've both had ST tests, so we're both clean. Has this happened to any of you men, out of nowhere like this? I'm thinking the blood last week is still in the back of my mind, and hope that's it. My divorce is still finalizing, so kind of stressed about that too. Is it temporary, and is Viagra a temporary fix for it? Oh man, I'm upset. Miss O'Shealolt says. Woman here. Of course I wouldn't be happy if you were upset and embarrassed. I would be concerned about you. Take care of yourself, which includes seeing a doctor and managing stress. Additional Stay 4355 says. Jesus. A soft chubby is the least of my worries for you. Let's get the bleeding issue figured out. Spirius says. Good to see the drive. Bloody semen can be the sign of infection, and in rare cases testicular cancer. Captain Borg says. If you have never lost an erection before now, consider yourself lucky. Happens to all of us sooner or later. Anxiety is the anti-boner. The more you worry about having/keeping an erection, the less you will be able to. The blood in your semen is not normal, and good on you for immediately going to the doctor about it. I'm sure that isn't helping your anxiety at all either. I would refrain from sexy times before you get to see the doctor. Escapa from Texas says. Dude, we can't answer this for you. It sounds like a medical issue. Go talk to your doctor. Ordinary Difficulty 9 says. This is coming from a woman's perspective. First of all, if there is blood, go to a doctor. It is probably nothing. My partner had this happen, and it was nothing. But it should be checked. It could be a sign of a health issue. Also, stress can totally take a toll in that department. Second of all, as a 49-year woman in a relationship with a 49-year man, shit happens. At this age, if you don't normally have issues, it can just happen randomly for dumb reasons. Tiredness, stress, too much alcohol, distractions. Any number of reasons. Any woman worth her salt, who is a decent human being and loves her partner, will fully support you and understand when it happens. And not care. I have made a point of reassuring my partner that I honestly don't care, and I really don't, and B, we should be able to talk about it, laugh about it, and take the embarrassment completely out of the equation. If it was a full-time ed problem, then yes, I would of course support going to get help for it. But if it is just age, and tiredness, and stress, and the kids or the dog suddenly waking up, it is what it is. Getting old sucks. You do not want to be with a woman who would shame you for this, or make you feel in any way uncomfortable about it. You want to find a woman who will laugh with you over it, and suggest trying again later. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.